off right with McDonald's new Egg White Delight McMuffin. Freshly grilled egg white, creamy white cheddar, and Canadian bacon, all on a whole grain English muffin. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
It's going through North Shawnee. You've got to be out of the way or below ground. It's going through. It's going down I-40. It's going to hit the Shawnee Mall. It's going to hit the Shawnee Mall. Reed Timmer, his stream was just up. He was in it. He's on the vapor.
Quarter mile wide.
Quarter mile wide.
Stovepipe. Violent tornado. Bright white from the backside. Just on the north side of I-40. Power lines down, blocking us.
Power lines are down. It is now.
We can go on the right side.
The tornado now.
He's hitting it for us.
The tornado now is 3 miles to the west of Shawnee Mall. It's either going to hit Shawnee Mall or graze the northern side of Shawnee Mall. It's 3 miles west of the Shawnee Mall. There's Chopper 4 Live looking at it. Massive tornado. Reed says quarter mile wide. It's been going to a half mile wide from time to time. Right now it's a quarter mile wide. Reed's in the vortex, and Emily Sutton's on it as well. You folks in Shawnee, below ground or out of the way, you have no other options. North Shawnee, I-40, and north of I-40 to the Shawnee Mall and up toward Prague. Up toward Prague. It's heading your way. Go, John Welsh.
Yeah, there it is, Mike. Right there on I-40, and the inflow in this thing is about 60 miles an hour right now. I shouldn't be hovering at 20% torque, but I am, just because there's absolutely so much wind that's just sucking from this storm that's holding us up in the air right now. And the inflow band is lowered like it did earlier. Well, the storm that hit Carnegie. This is definitely getting wider. We're seeing some power flashes in there. We're seeing some debris floating up. If you are in this area, you need to be underground. This is going to be, I don't know, we're probably, just from my vantage point, it looks like we're about 2 miles, 3 miles east of the 3W exit there on I-40. So we're going to be, it's going to be just to the west of the college there. So if you're on track I-40, right there you have Walmart, Lowe's, all those stores. You're definitely going to need to evacuate the area, come south. I'm right now just south of the Shawnee Airport, and everything's going to track north of here. But if you got friends or family in there, listen to us on the radio, definitely take this precaution and get underground, get in your safe area, because it's coming. And from our vantage point here, Mike, it doesn't look like it's lifting up anytime soon.
Let's go back to...
I'll come around to the left.
It's at 177. It is now it's actually sitting on the northern sides of Shawnee right now, is where the debris ball is currently located, on the northern side of Shawnee. Emily Sutton joins us live. It's going to hit the Shawnee Mall. It's going to hit the Shawnee Mall right now. Who's up, Hank? The Shawnee Mall is going to get hit.
Here?
Coming up here in less than a minute. In less than a minute. It's on I-40. The Shawnee Mall is going to get hit in less than 1 minute's time right now. Let's take the chopper. Let's take the chopper. John, can you push into that a little bit? Can you push into that a little bit?
We'll zoom in a little bit here for you. This is going to hit
the Shawnee Mall, like right now. It's absolutely, positively good. It's hitting the Shawnee Mall right now. Okay, you know, it may go a half a mile north or south, but I'm telling you right now, the debris ball is over the Shawnee Mall, on I-40 right now. This is a live picture.
Rain, it's picking up all that rain from the backside, and from our vantage point, it's kind of, you know, it's harder to see. It's right, you're right on it, Travis. But just as you can see, all that, golly, yeah, we're getting really beat up here by some wind here. But as you can see, all that rain just sucked it up, and it made it very, very hard to see. The inflow band that we're in right now, Mike, is just, this is absolutely crazy. We're getting tossed around. But as you can see, it's right up I-40, and like you said, the Shawnee Mall, definitely take your tornado precautions very seriously, Mike.
Appreciate that. It's a large debris ball right over the Shawnee Mall, Highway 18 and I-40 right now. Is Emily Sutton or Reed? We can get back with them. Reed was in the vortex on I-40. Let's go to Reed live. Reed, what do you got? Reed Timmer, go. There's Reed's live stream. That is I-40 in Shawnee right now. I think Reed was blocked by power lines. Let's see if we can actually talk to Reed here. Reed?
Mike, can you hear me?
Yes, go Reed.
Yes, there's a violent cone tornado to our northwest. You can't see that on the stream. It was wrapped in rain. Major damage on I-77, or we're 270 and I-77 and I-40 meet. It just crossed there. We're watching it right now. Violent cone.
Okay, so
Violent cone. Debris flying through the air.
Read from I-40. It's on the northern side of I-40 right now. Is that right?
Yeah, let's go. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Is it on the northern side of I-40? Is that correct?
Yes, north of I-40, about a mile north of I-40. Debris flying through the air. Massive debris flying through the air. It hit houses back on 270, 177 and I-40. Yeah, there's major damage there. Major damage.
Major damage at I-40 and 177. And
now there's cars flipped. Cars flipped everywhere.
Cars are flipped everywhere.
Big problem.
How many cars have you seen flipped, Reed?
I've probably seen 5, 6, 7, 8 cars flipped, semi-trucks rolled, and houses with complete devastation to the south of the road as it crossed. Big stovepipe just to our northwest right now. And we intercepted that earlier tornado 3 times up near Edmond East, and major damage there. We did search and rescue, had to put a cow out of its misery. Thankfully, nobody was hurt in that town, but now we're on this storm, and this is a very dangerous situation.
Okay, that's from Reed Timmer. John, you can still see it in your screen. Can you push into that? Can you push into that a little bit? It's very, very close to the Shawnee Mall. Looks like it's now to the east of the Shawnee Mall. It either went through the Shawnee Mall or on the northern sides of the Shawnee Mall. But that's right where it went. What do you got right now? Is that I-40?
Yeah, no, that's the 3W that comes off of, or 177, I guess. It comes off of I-40 to the southeast. It's from our vantage point right here, it's sucking all that water in there, which makes it white. And we're trying to adjust our iris so we can depict the blacks in the actual in the shot here, so we can give you kind of the shape here. But you know, it's definitely right there, and it still looks like it's tracking to the northeast, Mike.
Okay, John, appreciate that. Still on the ground. It is heading for Prague. Let's go back to Reed Timmer. There's Reed's stream, still on the ground. It is heading now from the Shawnee Mall area to Prague and also eastbound I-40. Reed had numerous cars flipped, semis blown over, and Reed now joins us live. Reed, what do you have?
Yeah, we're just to the north side of Shawnee, about 10 north on Kickapoo Street. I would estimate that tornado is about 3 miles northwest of Shawnee, and there's a new tornado forming now, probably 2 miles north of Shawnee with a new circulation. That one's still just getting going. Let's go our northwest, tornado in progress. Large tornado starting to wrap and rain now. Northwest of Shawnee, about 2 to 3 miles north of I-40. I repeat, north of I-40, but it crossed I-40 and caused extensive damage.
Okay, and I can confirm what you're talking about, Reed. There is another circulation back to your west. And it's going to be just to the east of 177 and I-40, and it's a strong circulation. There might be another tornado back there.
There it is. Bright white. Yeah, we got it. Got it. Yes, there it is.
Let's go to Reed's stream. Reed, you say you got it. Tell us what you got.
Right there. You see that white area right there?
Yes.
The left edge of that is that's the left edge of the tornado. Large tornado wrapped in rain. Still in there. As we go north, we should be able to get a better view of it, but the rain's concealing our view of that thing right now.
Now, Reed, is that the lead? Is that the lead tornado, or is that the one back to the west?
That's the one back to the west.
Okay.
There's another north and east.
Okay, just to be clear, let's go to the storm tracker. Just to be clear, this is what's happening right now. There are 2 tornadoes here on the ground. This is the one that tracked across North Shawnee, and let's hope it didn't hit the Shawnee Mall, but if it didn't, it was mighty close. It is now just north of I-40, about a mile north of I-40, about 4 miles east of the Shawnee Mall. There is a second tornado. This is confirmed. There's a second tornado on the ground northwest of downtown Shawnee, or just west of the Shawnee Mall. There are 2 tornadoes with this supercell, and the velocities here, the Doppler confirms both of these. We see both of them. Let's go back to Reed Timmer here live. Reed, tell us what you got.
Yeah, it looks like the tornado is to our northwest. Still a very large tornado wrapped in rain in there, but the circulation to the right looks to be taking over. That thing could put down a big branch or anything. And one to the northeast is near the Johnston area on the 40 a mile.
Let's go back to John Welsh and Bob Moore, Chopper 4. John's got to look at this. John, there are 2 tornadoes.
Yeah,
go.
Yeah, the tornado we were following earlier, I can't hardly even see it anymore just because of the rain. We kind of panned back here to this one to try and find what Reed's talking about. And what we're looking at is either this spot here, or if Travis backs out and goes back to the right of the screen, you'll start to see, or there's the other one. So, I'm not for sure exactly where he's talking about here, just from our vantage point. But again, this is kind of over the same spot that it was that the last one came through. But I'm going to think that this one's just going to be just to the northwest of that one. But definitely, it's wrapped in rain, and I got power flashes back right there. Go down, Travis, in your left, down in your left in the screen, and right in there, Mike. Right, just where that lowering come. If you go to that lowering, go straight down. We had several power flashes moments ago. So
that's the Mark
area
Dillard on the phone.
We're calling the tornado.
That Emily Sutton. Let's take Emily here live. Emily, we see your screen. Go.
I think we have the secondary tornado. Look on our screen. We have the secondary tornado. We're north of Shawnee.
Yes, there.
You can see it. You can see it spinning. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it. There are 2 tornadoes on the ground right now.
This has got to be the second one.
Yes, one's northwest of Shawnee. The other one is northeast of Shawnee near the small town of Johnson. The lead storm near Johnson, which is a small town about 5 miles east of the Shawnee Mall. There's another one, though, definitely on the ground, 5 miles northwest of Shawnee. Emily sees it. You're looking at it right there live. Go, Emily.
Yep. We are heading towards I-40. We're trying to chase the other one. We looked to our left, and I heard the other report that you were saying there's a secondary one. Sure enough, we see now this distinct tornado, not as large as the other one, more of an elephant trunk. It's kind of on a slant, but it's definitely on the ground, Mike. Not as powerful as the other one, but there's a secondary tornado on the ground.
Emily, how far south of I-40 are you right now?
Is this I-40 up here? We are literally at I-40.
I-40, and are you coming up 177, or what highway are you coming northbound on?
What is this on? What's this on? Harrison Avenue.
Okay.
Out of Shawnee.
Let's stay with you, because you're going to come into the damage track from the first tornado, and you have a visual of the second tornado, so you're it right now. So let's stay with you.
Do we have it? We lost it. I think it weakened. Mike, I think it cycled.
Okay.
It cycled on us when we were going through. It was weaker than the other one, but definitely a second tornado on the ground. I think we'll keep going. Well, we should probably hop on I-40 and keep going east.
You're going to come across damage on I-40. They're requesting a rescue up on I-40 right now in northwest Shawnee. There are semis flipped.
Okay.
There are at least a half a dozen cars flipped. Reed Timmer drove through major damage.
It's back. Mike, it's back. It's back. Mike?
Okay, the second tornado is back. This is northwest of downtown Shawnee. There it is. We have you, Emily.
Kevin Josephine has zoomed in on it, Mike, and you can see it. It's not too strong. It's, I classify it as an elephant trunk roping, but as we learned from Reed Timmer the other day, those tornadoes can still be very, very damaging and dangerous. Like a figure skater quickly bringing her arms in. That big rapid force. So this is cycling. This is not as strong as the other tornado, but you can see it. I don't think it's on the ground right now, although I cannot get a visual of the ground. But it's certainly a funnel, and it was on the ground earlier for sure.
Okay, very good.
There it is. Yep, it's still going.
That's the west tornado you're looking at right there. That's 5 miles due northwest of downtown Shawnee. It is north of I-40. It's trying to lift up a little bit closer to Meeker. It will not get as far as Meeker, I don't believe, for you folks in Lincoln County. However, the lead tornado, which is the one that hit Shawnee first, is still heading directly for Prague. And all the towns in between East Shawnee and Prague. There's Centerview there, and there's a little town, well, it's going to go north a little, but there's Centerview there, and then Prague. Prague, you folks, keep in mind, this has been a violent tornado, and you folks in Prague, you got to start thinking about your safe spot, and an interior closet or bathroom may not do it for you. It's been a violent tornado. And also, there's a third one forming, okay? There's a third one forming right here. This one's going to come back into Shawnee. So that means that you folks in Shawnee cannot come out of wherever you are. Hopefully you're monitoring us on your smart device, your mobile device, your smartphone. You cannot come out of your safe spot. You can't go drive around in your car and look at damage. You can't do any of that stuff, because there's a third circulation spinning up fast south of Dale. And you see the hook coming around right here, and it would not. The way the inflow is coming into this may spin up a tornado very, very fast. And you see the main bang now is back here to the west. Here's the hook on the lead tornado right there. It's still on the ground likely, but it's probably roping out by the way it looks. See the low-level lock. The second tornado is sitting right up here north of I-40, now north of the Shawnee Mall. It's not all that strong, but it's a significant tornado. But the main bang's coming back here to the west now, and everything's feeding back into this one. So I would say there's a pretty decent possibility, if not a probability or likelihood, that this will come right into Shawnee as a tornado on the ground. Let's go back to John Welsh and Bob Moore, Chopper 4. I think you're looking at the wall cloud of that far western mesocyclone, John. Is that right?
Yeah, we are. If Travis will zoom in there, right there on the right of your screen, you can kind of see some a lowering that's coming out of it that we haven't seen before, and it's breaking up now. But yeah, this is the lowering, and this is going to be, I don't know, probably 4 miles just to the west of the Walmart and stuff right there on I-40, and it appears that it's going to be just north of I-40 from our vantage point. We're just south of the Shawnee Airport, shooting towards the southwest, shooting towards the northeast, and that's what we have at this time. If we'll pan, Travis is going to pan to the left, and there's another spot right here. It's you're going to have the high. Keep coming to your left. Keep coming to your left. Right there, you kind of see this thing right here is starting to churn, and it'll kind of lower down a little bit, and then there's one right behind it. So this storm definitely has some energy. It seems like it's cycling. It's sucking more energy. The lowering that we've seen throughout the day that's been typically low, it's actually raised up a little bit now, so it's probably 700, 800 feet, 900 feet above the ground, where before when we were producing those larger storms, the lowering or the feeder part of it was just a couple hundred feet off the ground. So it might be an indication that this storm is actually weakening. But again, we'll stay right here over the south side of Shawnee.
Yeah, this one's becoming more funnel shaped. See how it's becoming more funnel shaped? It's becoming more funnel shaped right now. Let's go to Reed Timmer and Dominator 4 with a live update. Reed, we see your stream. What do you have?
Yeah, right now we are punching through the bear's cage of this lead. I think the lead taking over. One
Let's go ahead and drop Reed out. He's still on the lead tornado heading for Prague is where he is. He was going through the circulation. He called it the bear's cage. That's the violent rotating rain curtain. It's called the bear's cage. He's inside essentially the outer wall of the tornado. It's the lead one, which is southwest of Prague. Meanwhile, you've got this very menacing wall cloud here that occasionally has these kind of cone-shaped looking features to them that look a little bit like funnel clouds, and wouldn't be impossible to have funnel clouds rather quickly form out of this if these tighten up. And this is to the west. This is to the west of Shawnee, heading directly into Shawnee. Let's go to, I think we have, who's that, Emily or Mark Dillard? Who do you have? Let's go to Mark Dillard here real fast. Mark, what do you have?
Yes, Mike, we're looking at that circulation that's just to the north of I-40 here. We're at 18, which is Harrison, and West Tech, which is about a mile north of the highway of I-40 at the Stack and Fox Casino. And we've got that circulation. We'll try to tighten up. Got the fingers coming down on it. Still not very tight. A little bit. Still not very tight, but I do have one damage report to pass along. My chase partner here, Kevin Cosby, his home was hit down by Bethel Acres off of 102. Everybody's okay. The shingles were taken off, and a lot of tree damage, Mike, but just goes to show you that everybody's impacted by this, folks. We're not just out joyriding with this. We take everybody's life very seriously, even our own. So, Mike, I'm going to pitch it back to you. We're going to still watch this just on the north side of Shawnee. Back to you.
Okay, you're in a good spot, Mark. I recommend you go ahead and stay there. Let's go to Emily Sutton now live. She's still in Shawnee. Emily, you're joining us now live. What do you have?
Mike, we just decided to keep going north, and we're going to eventually go east. We're looking at what was that second tornado. We're keeping a close eye on it. It didn't really do a great attempt to recycle. It just had a little small funnel at one point, but hasn't recycled again. Doesn't mean it won't again. So we're keeping a close eye on that. And we're just about to enter some hail. We're moving a little bit further north, and then we're going to go east.
Okay, so Emily, that second tornado has lifted. Is that correct?
The one I was on, the secondary tornado, yes. Yes, it is lifted.
Okay, very good. That's the middle tornado. Recall, if you've been watching us, Emily was on the lead tornado, which caused extensive damage down I-40, not to mention damage all the way back into Cleveland County. And then there was a second tornado that was kind of in the middle, and that did produce a tornado north of I-40, northwest of downtown Shawnee, north of I-40. That tornado has lifted. Now, Reed Timmer is on the lead tornado, the lead one, which so far has produced the lion's share of the damage with this supercell. And it still has a tornado on it, and it's still heading for Prague. Reed just checked in with us, and it is heading for Prague. So it is still on the ground heading for Prague. Now, this is still a very menacing circulation now. The back one, middle one's lifted. This is the back circulation. And there is what could be easily a developing funnel cloud right there, and that is going to be right over on the northern side of I-40, northwest of Shawnee, near 177. John, you're live. Looking at that live, what do you see in that?
Yeah, we're definitely seeing some lowering. That was actually what I thought was like the feeder band filling it in, and you can see it's actually rotating with it. If we're looking at the ground. But if you look at the sky, you know, you have the funnel cloud, let's say on your screen it's an inch. About double the width of it is the lowering is actually all rotating, and that one piece is just spinning down south. So this is definitely, could be, if it touches down, a very, very large tornado here. And this is going to be just over pretty much the heart of Shawnee here, just north of the airport. There's some water towers, and that's about where that area is right there, Mike.
Appreciate that. Let's go to the stream on the quad box controller. We're going to take the quad box. Let's go to the stream that's in the upper left. Yeah, let's look. Reed's in the lower right. Reed's in the bear's cage, the lower right. That's the tornado southwest of Prague. And then let's look at the upper left. Let's take that full. I think that's Emily. If it is, that's Mark Dillard. Can Mark join us here live? Mark's in Shawnee. Tell you what, I don't think Mark is actually with us. He's in Shawnee, looking at that circulation right around Shawnee currently. He's actually in Shawnee tracking. Emily Sutton's here with us, so Emily, go ahead. You're on.
All right, Mike, you can see on my screen we still have a distinct lowering. I know we captured that second tornado for you. It was a very low-end tornado, a rope tornado. But right now, this still has lots and lots of motion. It's getting closer and closer to the ground, Mike. We are right on this. We are located just north of I-40. What road is this? Hey, I think we stand by.
Who's that?
It's Highway 8.
Highway 18. Highway 18. Just north of 40.
Highway 18, just north of 40, and that's right where that circulation is going.
You see it?
We do see your stream.
Yep. We're getting small pings of hail. This is the lowering. It keeps getting closer and closer to the ground, Mike. We're watching it. This is the same one earlier that produced rope tornadoes.
Okay, let's go to Mark Dillard. Mark with an update from Shawnee. Mark, you're on. Go ahead.
Yes, Mike. I think we've just lost some power over here on the east side of Shawnee. I'm at West Tech and Harrison, which is Highway 18. The circulation center funnel is just to my south and west now, right on top of I-40. If it can tighten up, it seems to have a problem. Mike, even trying to tighten up all the way. It seems to just be drifting a little bit. It won't take much for it to do it. It just seems to be having a little bit of a problem. We hope that it can get past the populated area here at Shawnee before anything happens, if anything happens at all with it. But it just seems to be having a little bit. I got more scud coming in on the north side to it. It just seems to have a problem even trying to tighten up. But if it can, obviously we'll drop a tornado, and it appears that it's about halfway down as it is now. But again, folks, in Shawnee proper, this thing is drifting right along I-40, coming up to Highway 18. If you're in the east side of Shawnee, you want to go take your tornado precautions, especially on the northeast side of Shawnee out toward the casino. Okay, Mike, just 1 second. Let me get backed up here. I seem to have it kind of trying to turn in, maybe even trying to tighten up here, Mike. It looks like it's trying to slow up just a hair and trying to turn in on itself.
Yeah,
But,
Mark, I would agree with that. It's going to be over 18 and I-40. Let's go to the storm tracker. In fact, it might try to tornado here coming up. Let's go to the storm tracker because you'll see the evolution here just in the past 12 minutes. Okay, there it is now. Look how the hook's coming around. See that? The curvature's coming around, the hook's tightening up. It's over 18 and 40, which is where the Shawnee Mall is located again, up there on the northern side of Shawnee. And the circulation is strong but broad. It's strong but broad, and it's trying to tighten up, and you can see the way the hook is definitely coming around, the stinger's coming around, and that's what Mark's talking about right now. Let's go tornado warning for Creek, for Lincoln, and for Pottawatomie counties continues. Let's go back to Bob Moore Chopper 4 with a look at that live from the chopper. John?
Yeah, there it is, Mike. And, that lowering is actually kind of raised back up a little bit, and it's just downpouring heavy amounts of rain right there where that lowering was, so it could be an indication it's losing a little bit of steam. If Travis will pan just to the right, just a little bit, you can kind of see some other scud lowering right there. It has a little mild rotation in it, but I think it's just the actual inflow sucking into the storm. But the second spot is actually rising. We're getting heavy downbursts of rain that's right over the northeast side of Shawnee at this time. So we're going to stay here, and at this time it's still rotating, but it doesn't appear that it's getting its act together. It looks like it's actually falling apart more than condensing here, Mike.
Appreciate that live update there from the chopper. Still pretty good wind shear on the eastern side of 18, over on the northern side of I-40. That would be over the northeastern sides of Shawnee. Doesn't appear to be imminent, but it is still pretty strong. It's just not really tight right now. Latest report from Reed Timmer and our team of trackers, 2 to 3 west of Prague. West-southwest of Prague, a tornado trying to come down to the ground. So you folks in Prague, a tornado warning continues for you. It's that lead tornado, this one right here. 2 to 3 west of Prague, still has a low-level lock. That's the lead tornado that was over a half a mile wide and was violent and was a wedge and a barrel and a wedge and a barrel. It's still on the ground, or at least trying to come back down to the ground from Reed Timmer and our team of trackers. So Prague, you folks in Prague, you need to be in your safe spot right now. Best would be below ground or out of the way or a storm cellar or basement, but get the safest place you possibly can. I wouldn't take chances with it. It's had too much violent motion, too much violent damage associated with it, and it is coming directly into the town of Prague. Indication from Reed Timmer is that the tornado is trying to come back to the ground, and that was just about 45 seconds to a minute ago, and it was 3 west of Prague, so now it's about 1.5 miles west of Prague, or maybe 1 mile west of Prague. So keep that in mind for Prague. Tornado warning continues. Who's that? Let's go back to Emily's live stream. Emily's got a nice visual on this wall cloud on the northeast side of Shawnee. Yes. Emily, go.
Yes, Mike. We're on 18 and I-40, and wow, this has got its act together. It was just, rough rotation, but now look at this lowering. It's very well defined. And we're planning on hopping on I-40 unless there's still a way that we can't. I believe that we can't still hop on I-40. We're going to follow it, and we're watching this very closely, very ominous lowering here. And guys, just 10, 15 minutes ago, we got a rope tornado. So this obviously is the environment where it can drop a tornado at any time. We're keeping a very close eye on it right now, Mike.
Emily, what is your location right now?
We're almost at I-40. We're on 18 north of Shawnee.
On 18 north of Shawnee. So are you literally just like coming up on I-40 right now?
Well, we're heading south towards I-40, so we're looking off to the east.
Okay, you're going southbound on 18 toward 40. Is that right?
Yes, correct. Correct, Mike.
Okay. How far north of I-40 do you think you are right now?
How far north?
How far north of I-40?
How far north of I-40 are we? Like a mile.
Okay,
1 mile.
let's stay with your
If
stream.
that.
All right, let's stay with your stream because you're likely going to cross the damage path.
Okay.
So let's take a look and see what we have, because this is that
Now
whole.
we're getting into the rain shield.
This is that whole Shawnee Mall area that we're talking about in North Shawnee. So let's see what Emily has, what she comes across here, because spotters reporting debris falling out of the sky 1 south of Stroud. one south of Stroud. It makes you wonder where that debris came from. Where, if there's debris falling out of the sky in Stroud, it makes you wonder where that debris actually came from. If that debris came from, the Shawnee area, which is possible, but Stroud has debris falling out of the sky. And as you know, Stroud's about 35 miles northeast of Shawnee. So that could be the Shawnee debris falling out of the sky up in Stroud. So it keeps in mind, the Turner Turnpike's going to have debris on it that's been falling out of the sky from these violent tornadoes probably back in Cleveland and Pottawatomie counties. So there's debris falling out of the sky in Stroud right now. So Emily Sutton here, we're watching Emily's stream. We believe there's a potential tornado now northwest of Prague, just northwest of Prague. We believe there's a tornado potentially there, and then there's significant circulation now on the northern side of I-40, east of the Shawnee Mall, and there's a new tornado warning there for Fusky. 2.5 northwest of Prague. Reed Timmer on the ground. 2.5 northwest of Prague. So maybe, fortunately, it has missed the town of Prague. It's 2.5 northwest of Prague. Tornado on the ground, and hopefully it has missed Prague. It is heading for Paden. There's a tornado warning now for Fusky County. Fusky County tornado warning. Welty, Paden. This is the one that's been a large, violent tornado. Emily Sutton here is in the immediate Shawnee Mall area. Emily, first of all, what do you have weather-wise right now, and have you seen any damage?
Michael, we just got on I-40. We're heading east by Shawnee. We saw that lowering earlier, and we've seen 2 tornadoes out of this. One very large tornado, and then that rope tornado, and then it was trying to cycle, didn't quite do it. And right now we're heading east. We have not seen any debris yet, but I will keep my eyes peeled for it as we're trying to follow this storm as it quickly races off to the east.
That's good. That's a really, really good report. If you did not come across any debris.
Not yet.
Not yet, at 18 and 40. That's really very good news, at least right there at 18 and 40, because that tornado tracked very, very close to 18 and 40. And as of right now, Emily has not seen any debris from that initial lead tornado. Now, she is tracking still eastbound. She is tracking that circulation right there. Let's go to Kevin and Linda live at the news desk.
Mike, thank you very much.
We're receiving initial reports of perhaps the first fatality. Mike, you've talked about how dangerous this storm is. Now, the Red Cross is confirming that they've received word of a fatality. We're trying to confirm the exact locations, but indications appear to put it around the area of Dale, Oklahoma. The people in that area are reporting that the earth has been scoured, no telephone or power poles up in a particular path through there, so they apparently got hit very hard.
And that's what, that is definitely the signs of what they call in the weather parlance the grinder, the big tornado that just tears up everything. Hate to hear that. We do know that the Red Cross is going through Edmond, Luther, surrounding areas to deliver water and supplies, also in contact with Lincoln County, and also search and rescue crews, we're being told, are requested for the Shawnee area, and Emily might run into some of this as she travels east toward Shawnee. As you heard Reed Timmer say, there were some flipped vehicles in that area, and of course, when you're in a car and a tornado hits, it just throws you everywhere, and that could be some bad news coming out of there.
If you've been watching our live coverage for the past 4 hours or so, you know that these storms have been developing throughout the Edmond area and then moving north, northeast, sometimes more east. But the Oklahoma County Sheriff is asking you to stay away from Waterloo and Sorghum Mill Road. They have power lines down there. They're trying to get them up. But again, in all of these storm paths, please be considerate. Stay out of the areas unless you have business there so that emergency vehicles can get through.
Looky-loos can really clog up those areas, and the emergency folks can't get to where they need to be as quickly as they need to get there. We're going to be giving you some reports from the ground in Edmond just as soon as we get our folks dialed in. We have reporters on the ground, photographers, of course, gathering information, getting video of the damage that we have seen so far, and of course our storm trackers are as well. And as you saw from Bob Moore before, that damage from the Kearney area, the rural areas where there were some homes that were really wiped out in that area.
Jesse Wells is standing by. He's been looking at some of the aftermath. Jesse, show us what you've got.
Well, Linda and Kevin, the house behind me will basically tell the entire story. This home may have been the first that was hit during this afternoon's tornado outbreak. You can see the roof on this home basically completely ripped off. The homeowner was inside when that tornado went through. Edmond police stopped by recently and said that here in Edmond, there were about a dozen homes, maybe just less than a dozen homes that were damaged in this tornado that went through town. This home, though, they say is the worst of the bunch. Mostly in Edmond, we've seen a bunch of trees down, power lines down, that sort of damage. But again, out here, this roof was completely torn off. Basically, when the tornado came through, it came straight overhead, knocked over a lot of the roof into the neighbor's yard, and then actually, if you get behind me, you can see the track that this tornado took. You can see the distinct mark here in the trees as that tornado went overhead. Again, Edmond police say, luckily, at this point here in Edmond, there are no injuries to report. That, of course, is the best news of all. The homeowner in the home here behind me, that again may have been the first that was hit this afternoon, also said he escaped without injury. That is always good news. We'll have much more on all the damage later on the evening. Back to you guys.
All right. Jesse, thank you very much. I was over in that area. I live not far from there, and I was talking to you on the phone, the damage I saw, and it looked like EF1, FE1, however they term it, damage. So not too bad there, but it was still scary.
Shawnee may not be so lucky. Reed Timmer is reporting at least 45 houses damaged, some of those destroyed. He says they have major damage. Several people were ejected from their vehicles on I-40. That's why the search and rescue crews have been asked to go to that area. And also the need for emergency personnel in sections of Shawnee. We're continuing to follow that and have crews there as well. Let me show you some of the pictures that we've been getting in this afternoon that you've been kind enough to send in. And we appreciate the pictures, but always ask that you be careful. Lance West took these pictures around his neighborhood. If my notes are right, this is around 15th and Bryant, 33rd and Bryant.
Yeah, it's down around Old Farm and in Spring Hill, in that area there. You folks who live in Edmond, you'll recognize some of these places, big old trees torn up right there as well. This is probably in the Old Farm area, and another shot of that tree right there. We have some shots of the funnels too that went through Edmond. We might see those in just a minute. But as Jesse was saying, a lot of this is tree damage and some minor roof damage, although that one home is going to need a lot of work to get that roof repaired.
A friend who lives at 33rd and Bryant said a lot of the roofs around the neighborhood were damaged or destroyed. This is from the Oklahoma Sheriff's Office. This was taken near Northeast 234th and Dobbs in Luther. As you know, the storms that moved through Edmond then took a path through Luther and that area, doing damage, as you can see right there.
Look at somewhere. That's some of that hail. That was in Blanchard. That's larger than golf ball right there. So those storms, there's some bigger than quarter size right there as well. That from Oklahoma City. So these tornadoes, of course, always bring with them a lot of falling ice from the sky. And so it's every insurance company's nightmare, and roofing companies, of course, don't like it, but they definitely make a living off this in this part of the country.
And, of course, as we said at the top of this, if you're just now joining us now, word of perhaps the first fatality in the storm coming from the area around Dale, Oklahoma. That's the initial report. The Red Cross is confirming they've received word of a fatality. We have crews looking into that situation and hope, if it is indeed a fatality, it's the only one, because we've had some very severe storms.
And we were talking about people being ejected from their cars, and unfortunately that tornado, as well as Reed and John Welsh and Bob Moore Chapel 4 looked like it was going right down I-40, which you know is a very heavily traveled highway here in Oklahoma, as is I-35.
And if you're traveling through the state and don't know Oklahoma, they can just pop right down on top of you. Mike Morgan, you've got more news.
Well, we do. I tell you, the bottom line is right now there's one tornado on the ground, and it's likely an F4 tornado. And it's this one coming into northwestern Fusky County right now. It's northwest of Payton. It just missed Prague on the north side. That's good. But it's heading up for Welty and IXL, Highway 48, southbound out of Bristow and northbound out of Okemah. This could be an F4 tornado right here. Still the north Doppler and take a look at the velocities, and you can see the bullseye configuration. Here's Fusky County right here. There's Welty. There's Bristow. So this is a large tornado on the ground. I think it's really intensified here in the past few minutes as it lifted temporarily and then bounced for a while down by Prague, north of Prague. But I'd say Welty and Highway 48, the rural areas up here, is pretty rural in through here in IXL, which is a small community south of Bristow. You folks, if you know anybody there and you think they may not have good access to a television or a radio, and they might possibly live in a mobile home, you need to somehow find a way to get a hold of them. and tell them that they have to be out of the way or underground. When this thing comes through northern Okfuskee County and southern Creek County, I'm 100% positive, there's no doubt about it, they've got to be out of the way or below ground. Storm cellar, safe room, interior closet or bathroom's not going to cut it. This is a big, big, violent tornado right here, and Reed Timmer is still on it, so we'll be talking to Reed. He's been in and out of the bear's cage and all that. He's still on it, and it's a big tornado, and it's heading for Welty. We do not want to have this thing go plow through one of these smaller towns and have somebody not know about it. So northern Okfuskee County, southern Creek County, south of Bristow, north of Okemah, that easily could be a half-mile wide plus F4 plus tornado traveling through all of northern and northwestern Okfuskee County into Highway 48 and the Creek County line. That's where it's heading. That is a big, big tornado right there. Now, I think let's go to Bob Moore Chopper 4 Live. He is backtracking with damage over by the Fire Lake Casino. This is what Reed told us about earlier, and now John's showing it to you live. Go, John. And yep, he'll come back. He's this is I-40 near 177. Go, John, you're live.
Yeah, I-40 and 177 right here. As you can see, we have troopers on the way. We've got 2 semi-trucks.
And we'll stay here with John. The signal will come back. He's this is 177. That's the crossover there, it looks like, and I-40. Okay, you're back. And it'll come back. We'll stay with this, but this is the significant damage over by the Fire Lake Casino and just on the northwestern sides of Shawnee when that large barrel tornado that Emily was showing you and Hank Baker was showing you and Reed was showing you when it was crossing I-40 there at 177 and I-40. Let's go back to Emily Sutton here live with an update. Emily?
Mike, we're heading east on I-40. We're about 5 miles west of Highway 377. We're driving through some very heavy rain. We've had the challenge of outdated radar, but we'll keep going this way. We're heading towards those tornadic storms that are north of I-40, and we have not seen any debris. We're just going through some very heavy rain right now.
Emily, appreciate that. Troy Christensen passing along. More debris now falling out of the sky to south of Bristow. So the debris is now being carried up to near Tulsa. It's in the jet stream aloft, and there's debris now all the way up to Bristow falling out of the sky, and that is from these tornadoes, probably the one that's still on the ground northwest and north of Peyton and west of Welty, or it could be debris from Shawnee. But there's debris now literally falling out of the sky in the southwestern suburbs of Tulsa. From these tornadoes right now. So the Turner Turnpike may have debris actually in the road. Let's go back to John Welsh and Chopper 4 Live.
Yeah, Mike, right now, Highway 177, you can see that semi-truck is teetering on that overpass. It's actually about half the cab of the trailer is on the overpass, and as Travis will pan to the right, one completely got blown off the overpass, and there it is. There's his contents. That's the truck. As you can see, the damage to it, and there's a trailer. And in the top left of your screen, you're seeing another Suburban that has heavy damage to it as well. Highway Patrol's out here on scene. Look, I just now see that black car, that black pickup truck right there in the bottom left of your screen. We'll get around on it. It looks like it got smashed by the truck as it got blown over the overpass. So the wind here, this is no joke. When we say get off the road, get in your area, this really is. And just to your left, as Travis will pan that way, we have another semi that's laid on its side. So a total of 3 semis right here. Go to your left, Travis. 3 semis here right there are completely gone. And then we'll zoom out here just a bit, and we're going to pan up and to the left, and we're going to show you some trees that are damaged. There looks like a concrete plant here, and some houses has heavy damage. This was right there when we were talking. We said it was like north of 3W right there on I-40. This is where it was at, and this is definitely the damage that it did. As Travis will continue to pan to the left, you'll see the trees that are messed up and all the houses. This thing just grinded the whole tops of the trees off here, Mike.
John, appreciate that. We just really literally want to stay with you. There are two things here that are the most important thing. What has happened and what is happening right now. So we're just simply going to go back and forth between the two. So let's go back to John here. This damage is quite extensive. John, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, it is. This is one way you can tell from the air that it's a tornado. Everything's twisted. A lot of your straight line wind or some microburst action that happens, everything's just blown onto one side. But you can see those trees, and those are some pretty good sized trees that are ripped up in this housing addition. If we'll pan, Travis will pan back out and go to the left, there's some houses right here on the end of this road. We have fire crews there. It looks like they're going door to door just to make sure everybody's okay. And we'll kind of stay right here in the area. I haven't been flagged down yet, but I'm always watching just to make sure that, you know, nobody's down there that's injured that we might be able to help. But this whole little area, everything looks like it's... Hang on a second, Mike. I got you. Yeah, everything here in this area is on at least an acre, so the houses are pretty spread out, and just debris everywhere. And just north of this field, probably half a mile, there's debris and house pieces, but some of these houses are completely gone. And most of them look like they're, you know, just your standard brick over frame, you know, stick frame roof construction, asphalt shingles that are completely damaged. So this is where it touched down and continued to head to the east. I'm not seeing any damage more to the east here, just north of 177, or just east of 177 rather. But as you can see, this little neighborhood right here took a definite hit.
John,
hey, Travis, pan out and go to the right.
John, where from I-40 is that?
Yeah, from I-40, it's I don't know, maybe a mile and an eighth from I-40 377. So I guess the next road, I'll zoom in here on my GPS, see what the next road is. But it's just, yeah, just a mile and a quarter, and it's just going to be east of 177 here. So definite damage. You know, seeing all this, it's lucky everybody got to make it out okay. And I would think by now we would see some ambulances or something if something did happen. But it looked like they heeded and they took their necessary storm precautions and were prepared for this area right here. But they're diverting traffic. Let me, real quick, if you're westbound on I-40 headed like towards Oklahoma City, they're diverting traffic around. Traffic's fixing to start really getting backed up here in the Shawnee area. So definitely, like Kevin and Linda talked about earlier, if you're trying to be a looky-loo, I would, you know, just stay in your house and don't clog up the roadways because you want to see the damage. Let emergency crews and everybody else do that for you. But as you can see, this neighborhood here, Kevin, there's not a house that's not hit. I'm sorry, Mike. There's not a house that's not hit.
Okay, that's from John Welch there live. We're going to come back to John. Let's go to the weather show. And we have still ongoing severe weather in areas. They're trying to get east of our viewing area, but there's still some areas here we have to talk about. New warning here, severe thunderstorm warning for Kay County right now. Let's go to the storm tracker. And there's a little bit of lowerings on these from time to time. There's no organized, you know, well-balanced spinning motion. But they do have some kind of stretched out mesocyclones with them. But there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. That's talking about Blackwell, Tonkawa, Ponca City, and Newkirk. A little bit of a spin west of Tonkawa right now. Another little bit of a spin near Blackwell, but kind of stretched out. Not to say they may not produce some large hail. They sure could, and they are severe with a lot of intense lightning. And they're moving to the east-northeast at around 30 miles per hour for you folks in Kay County. Now, let's go back to the weather show. There's still an intense tornado likely on the ground in northwestern Okfuskee County right now, and it is going to be just to the southwest of IXL is where it is right now, and it is an intense circulation going on in Okfuskee County. And let's go to the storm tracker, and we can take a look at that. It is now going to be tracking very close to the town of Welty, and north of Okima, and then that circulation now that is southeast of Prague. Southeast of Prague, that's going to be tracking kind of down I-40 on the northern sides of I-40. I believe Emily Sutton is still tracking that. Let's see if we can go to Emily here live from very close to Prague. Emily, what do you have?
Mike, I don't know if you just pitched to me, but my phone's breaking up a little bit.
You're on, Emily.
Okay, thanks. So, Steve, please turn this. We have the lowering. There's lots of motion with this. Definitely a lowering on this storm. Do not see a tornado. There's lots of motion. I watched it from far away earlier when we were on I-40. Right now we're actually heading north towards Prague. And it did get pretty close to the ground earlier, but right now we're just seeing some rotation with it. No funnel support to report as of yet. Mike?
Emily, appreciate that. That's going to be just southeast of Prague. And this lead circulation, as we go to the storm tracker, the lead circulation, there's all sorts of reports up here by Tulsa of debris coming out of the sky, and I think it is likely this is the lead tornado which came through Shawnee. It is likely that it is from that lead tornado. This is a monster right here on the ground. It is a monster tornado on the ground in northwestern Okfuskee County, heading for the town of Welty. Again, if you know anybody in Welty or the rural areas from northwestern Okfuskee County into southern Creek County, IXL for one, you need to make sure you dial them up, text them, call them, do Facebook, whatever you got to do, Facebook them. Make sure they know they cannot be out there looking at it, watching it come. They got to be out of the way or below ground. This is a monster tornado right here. There's all sorts of debris reports in the southwest Tulsa metro area. Say that again. Wallpaper and insulation in Stroud falling out of the sky. And there's even reports now, Bristow, Slick, the Tulsa metro area of debris coming out of the sky from these storms right here. This is a big likely wedge tornado. Reed Timmer's on it. He's been on it the whole time, and it's heading up toward IXL and Welty. We don't want that to go wipe through these towns and folks not know about it or be out of the way or below ground, because that's what you got to do. There's no two ways about it. This is circulation that Emily's on, southeast of Prague. It's got significant circulation. It could produce tornadic activity as it rolls toward Okemah. Let's go back to Bob Moore, Chopper 4, surveying the damage, northwest Shawnee. John?
Yeah, Mike, this damage is absolutely, this is hard.